Greetings and salutations, family. Welcome again to another video. And today I want us to take a look at a very important topic that has never or has hardly been explained by many in the medical field. The topic of fasting. Fasting as nature's best test for every illness. And I say best test because we are going to look at it in a more fulsome way today. The power of fasting has been nature's infallible law, an infallible way of healing or understanding the prognosis of diseases from time immemorial. This happened in the spiritual, in the physical, and in the mental realm. And fasting has never failed a test. Never. Why? Because it is divinely inspired and encouraged by God Himself. What then is fasting? Fasting is giving up or abstaining from food, drink, or any other cherished habits for a period of time to focus on something that is of a greater and more immediate urgency. The two reasons why people fast are: one, spiritual, and this includes a connection or reconnection with God for help or deliverance from some pressing issues. Two, to regain health in cases of sicknesses, whether emotional or physical. Let us look at biblical fasting for a minute. The Bible addresses several modalities of fasting. In Esther chapter 4, we read of a plot by Haman to destroy all the Jews. Mordecai heard of the plot and informed the queen Esther about it. Esther, upon hearing, orders 3 days and 3 nights of fasting by all the Jews. 3 days and 3 nights of fasting. During that time, they were not supposed to eat or drink anything. Fasting and prayer. And during that time, Esther would approach the king, which she said it was not lawful to do at that time. And she went in with the thought, with the faith, that if she perish, she perish. And of course, God delivered the Jews from the hand of Haman, because it was Haman's plan to destroy the Jews physically, spiritually, and emotionally. He wanted to wipe the Jews off the face of the earth. But God intervened, and God delivered the Jews from the hands of Haman. And we all know the story very well, what happened to Haman during that time. In Ezra chapter 8, verse 21 to 23, we see the prophet proclaim a fast for safe passage and deliverance for his people. And God delivered again. There are many other places in the Bible that fasting is done. We can look at Daniel fast 21 days for deliverance of his people from their sins. We can also look at Jesus' fast 40 days, 40 nights for spiritual power to face the enemy. during in the wilderness of temptation, and many other such fasts. Let us now turn our attention and look at fasting in the spiritual realm, in the physical realm, to regain health in cases of sickness. There is a prevailing philosophy or teaching among many in the healthcare profession or industry that when a person is sick, we should give them more food. We should feed them more, give them more proteins, give them more vitamins, give them more enzymes, feed them more. Nothing could be further from the truth, and nothing could be more destructive than to feed a sick person when they are sick. Why? Because nature, which is the only true teacher that God the Creator has given to us, teaches us otherwise. The animals, when they are sick, they abstain from food, they fast. If you observe dogs, cats, cows, all natural animals, when they are sick, they stop eating and they would turn to something else, more medicinal, to alleviate them from their illnesses. We should be smarter than the animals. And here we could learn a thing or two from them. Because when they fast, they get better and quicker too. But not so with us. We want to eat more. And we say we are smarter than the animals. Professor Arnold Ehret addresses this subject in detail in his book, The Mucusless Diet Healing System, from which I will be quoting extensively during this video. Professor Ehret states boldly that there is only one disease. It is constipation or clogging up of the human body, especially the digestive tract and the colon in particular. This clogging, he said, is caused by an eliminated, undigested, unnatural food substance, which has built up over many years, leading to the poisoning of the bloodstream and the entire biological structure. The great Hippocrates, Dr. Charles Simmons, Dr. Sebi, among other natural health professionals, agree with Professor Ehret that there is only one disease, manifesting itself in many different ways. For example, if the mucus or clogging is in the joints, the medical establishment calls it arthritis. If it is in the nasal passage, the medical establishment calls it sinusitis. If the mucus is in the blood, they call it lupus, they call it lymphoma, they call it leukemia, etc. If it is in the bronchial tubes, the medical establishment, they call it bronchitis. If the blockage or obstruction is in the brain, they call it Parkinson, paranoia, insomnia, Alzheimer's, etc. If it is in the bones, they call it rickets. But all have their source in one entity, mucus, or blockage or clogging. They name it many different names. Professor Ehret states further, fasting has been known as nature's compensation for every disease from time immemorial. It is nature's infallible law, and the same applies in the mucusless diet stated in Genesis 1:29. But why has it never come into general use and resultant universal success? Because it was never used systematically in accordance with the condition of the patient. The average man has no idea what it means to cleanse the body of the terrible quantities of waste he has accumulated in the body during his lifetime. Disease is an effort of the body to eliminate waste, mucus, obstruction, and toxins. And in this, the system assists nature in the most perfect and natural way. It is not the disease, but the body that needs to be healed. I have also found fasting to be the master key to mental and spiritual unfoldment. Fruit diet and fasting are nature's infallible factors in regaining and maintaining a superior health than is enjoyed by most civilized mankind. Professor Everett reminds us, and I quote, your constitutional encumbrances throughout the entire system are the source of every disease. It is the greatest and most harmful source of lowered vitality, imperfect health, lack of strength and endurance, and any and all imperfect conditions. All have their source in the colon, being never perfectly emptied from birth. Nobody on earth today has an ideally clean body and therefore perfectly clean blood. What the medical science calls normal health is in fact a pathological condition. End quote. Fasting as used to diagnose disease, and I want us to listen to this part of it carefully. Listen carefully and assimilate it. Quote, the most exact and unerring diagnosis we have is a short fast. The more rapidly the patient feels worse throughout a short fast, the greater and more poisonous is his obstruction or encumbrance. Should he become dizzy, suffer severe headaches, etc., he is greatly clogged up with mucus and toxins. If palpitation of the heart occurs, it is a sign that pus or mucus is somewhere in the system, or that drugs, even though taken many years ago, are in the circulation for elimination. Any inside constipated place is located by a slight pain there. The experimental practitioner can ascertain better than an x-ray through nature's revelation after a short fast the true condition of the inside of the human body and knows the real diagnosis more correctly than doctors can ascertain with all their expensive equipment and instruments. And if a weak point has been begun to develop, and suspected by them, nature will unerringly, nature will unerringly indicate where and how he will later become sick. In other words, it's actually predicting something here. If the wrong method of living is continued, although it may be after many years. This then is the prognosis of disease, or the likely outcome of one's current standing. The sufferer from any kind of disease, or any person, whether sick or not, who will go through this healing process of fasting and mucusless diet, will eliminate mucus, thereby demonstrating that the basic cause of all latent disease of man is a clogged up tissue system of uneliminated, unused, and undigested food substance. The diagnosis of your disease, of all diseases of mankind, both mental and physical, since the beginning of civilization, proves that they all have the same foundational cause. Whatever the symptoms may be, it is without exception one and the same universal condition, a oneness of all disease. That is waste, foreign matter, mucus, and its poisons. If it is a fact that food is to be blamed for almost all disease, as nature so clearly demonstrates, then it is logical and self evident that you can only heal by the right diet, and radically only, if necessary, with the most rational diet. And that is, of course, fasting. Nature's only remedy in the animal kingdom, as we have seen earlier. To quote the great father of medicine, Hippocrates, illness do not come upon us out of the blue, but are developed from small daily sins against nature. And when enough sins are accumulated, illness will suddenly appear. Everyone has a doctor in him or her. And this is quote number 2. Everyone has a doctor in him or her. We just have to help it in its work. The natural healing force in each of us is the greatest force in getting well. Our food should be our medicine, and our medicine should be our food. And this is where many people stop. But he said further, but to eat when you are sick is to feed the sickness. And this is exactly what Professor Eret was saying before. That when you are sick, stop eating. And this is what the great Hippocrates is saying. The man who is credited as being the father of medicine, and upon whom all medical personnel swore the Hippocratic oath. He's saying otherwise. Fasting, in the case of fasting, you are to stop eating, stop feeding your body, and allowing the body to heal itself. And Professor Eret further states that during the fasting process, fruits, Genesis 1:29, should be observed. I will stop here and continue with the stages of fasting in my next video. So until my next video, where I will deal with the methods of fasting, remember to like, to share, and to subscribe to these videos. This is for us, that we all can learn something and we all can share something with each other. This is the purpose of these videos, to enlighten us, because we make sense and we want to make sense with each other and with whoever we come into contact with. So until my next video, blessings and salutations, family.